Hey, welcome back. In this video I will give you a little update on my garden and we will do some late summer repot. My name is Rafael Najmanovic and I'm here to share my bonsai journey with you and the things that I learned along the way. So as you can see, the garden changed a little bit. This fence is new and here there was a shed that is gone, so I gained maybe 20% of the space of the garden that wasn't available. And I gained further area on this side and on the other side, which is behind the deck. But some updates. This is the Thuja that was styled in a very recent video, and I had some lines that were not very nice, kind of arching, but I gave them more of a Thuja vibe with out, down and up and away. One little branch here died, which is a pity, but it happens. This is the Thuja that I did the trunk bent, and you're looking at it from the front. I have not styled yet. This video should have been about styling it, but I'm feeling uninspired to not do something too run of the mill with it. I think it has a lot more potential, so I'm waiting while the inspiration comes. You know, when we speak about bonsai as an art, it cannot be a craft. It cannot be treated as a craft that you can get a tree and do it whenever on the spot. Often is what we see on demonstrations, but if it's to be viewed as an art, sometimes the artistic process is not an automatic one. One thing for sure, I will remove this branch here and perhaps keep this little one here to increase taper and to cover some of the negative space, but not too much. Now that the movement of the two trunks is harmonized, before they were too far apart, and now also the bigger trunk has a clear precedence, dominance over the smaller one. This ponderosa pine was repotted this spring. Now in the fall I can remove all that I don't want from it, which is essentially all this extension here. So the tree viewed from here has this profile for the foliage, and the Thuja with the movement coming this way with the mixed media. The larches with buds really plump, ready to go for next year. The foliage is a little bluish as I corrected my pH. The Thuja that was the larch that was styled, the triple trunk larch, in the spring, this probably will have to be repotted next spring. Very old Thuja collected a few years ago, repotted this spring also, not styled yet. The snowman larch, windswept, simulating or giving homage to the painting from Steve Varley from the Group of Seven. This is the little maple repotted this spring also. All these junipers need to be worked this week or the next. They have long extensions, they're very strong, and they give me additional options for styling. Chinese queens acquired this spring. Maples, ume, jack pine that was a bit unhealthy, but now it's ready for probably be repotted next spring. This larch had a bit of shock during repot, I think, but it will be okay. So it can be styled next spring if I have time for it. The queen, this is my oldest Thuja, and it has a hollow trunk with a spider living in it, probably here. The trunk is hollow here, and then it actually has a hole here, and then it joins again into a single trunk. Quite unique. Second ume, and the Pinus resinosa, the red pine, a few more large. Here we have the wall mounted balsam fir, still unstyled, and here we have the Coprosma kirki that spent winter indoors, and it fell, the plate broke, I lost this branch that will be turned into dead wood, and as soon as I can restyle, this will be brought back here. Some more updates. My buckthorn forest. This has been over 3 years in this pot without repotting and going well. This one here is the dumpster Thuja. This is a Thuja that was found in the garbage of a nursery, but it has a considerable trunk, perhaps 2 inches, and a nice body, so that's a good find for free. Larch that was collected last year, Thuja forest in the making, potentilla that I was given as a gift. Here is the ginkgo planting that I did this spring. Some sort of painting with mugo pines, variety pumila. This one comes from Costco. This one was growing in my garden with very long branches, so the branches actually go around and embrace the pot and come all around and out. Here I see some very strong biting, so it's time to unwire this tree. A willow acquired this spring. I wasn't sure if it was alive, but it is. So the work for today will be to repot some of these nursery stock or garden safe Thujas. And why repotting at this time of the year and not in the spring? I could repot in the spring, but sometimes the springs are wet and cold, and at this time of the year the weather is drier but not so hot as summer. So late summer repot is actually a very good time to repot trees. I repotted in the past several deciduous trees in leaf, Japanese maples, willow. This willow here was repotted 2 weeks ago. It was previously in this spot here, in a horizontal position, but it was not making justice and the tree was suffering. So I repotted it in this pot 2 weeks ago in leaf. And you will say, yeah, it's a willow, they can take everything, and it's true. But I also repotted this Amur maple in years past, in late summer. And the trees do fine, so I think there is a lot of room, if your conditions allow, to do late summer repot. And I have several videos in my library about the advantages of this, and so you can go check them out. So now I will do the repotting work on a time lapse. I also have many videos explaining repotting theory and what to do and what not to do. I will just do the repot in a time lapse so that you see the severity or the scope of work involved. And today is the Sunday, September 5th. I'm closing the window of opportunity here in Montreal to do this kind of work. Soon it will start getting too cold and too soon, too close to the time when frost can come, which is in about 8 weeks. We still have safely September and October before any night frosts, so 8 weeks is enough for the roots to recover, and then the trees will stay outside under the snow in the ground, or rather on the ground, without any additional protection. So stay tuned for the rest. Alright, so this is the result. After analyzing the roots, I felt that this is the best base, but let me just delve a little bit into the process. First of all, as you can see, this is an unstyled tree, and it is repotted first so that the foliage allows the roots to recover as fast as possible. The second thing is that I don't style it first, so that if there is something on the root system that absolutely prevents me from realizing the styling that I have in mind before looking at the roots, I rather see this first. So as I start working on the roots, I removed the major bulk in the beginning with the sharpened painting spatula, and there were lots of rocks and matted roots. And then I started looking for, at the same time, for potential angles and fronts as well as limitations in the root system, in a sort of a iterative way, everything at the same time, to arrive at the best base. And the objective decision about the best base and the best line comes from a number of points. First of all, I have several strong roots here that anchor a symmetry towards that side. The second thing is that I have the widest base. I have an interesting root here with a shadi. I have another interesting shadi here. I put one piece of wire here to remove this from the front so you can see it. And I think the pot is, yeah, like this. And of course we have to style it first, but as you can see we have curves like in almost like a natural S this way on all of the branches, and they start bending down. So this is more or less the vibe of this tree, and it will probably have multiple apices, one here, one here, or here, probably away from the rim of the pot, another apex here, and a third in this area. So why am I saying that probably the main apex will be at the line or breaking the line of the pot? This is a round pot, so it's very symmetric. So to add further asymmetry to make the round pot work, I want to create a sense of unbalance with the apex a little bit further. But again, I have these roots to hold it, and I have this apex here to create counterbalance. I'm still not entirely sure if I will use this branch here, but I will try. So the repotting time, the repotting time at this time of the year, late summer, as I mentioned, September 5th, is because we're past all the heat waves, but we still have dry, sunny, warm weather with night temperatures still well above 7 degrees. So for yesterday, for example, the night temperature was 20. We will still be on the teens for many weeks. And sometimes the spring is a gamble because it's wet and cold. This year we had a very hot bout. We had to rush in repots because the trees were waking up, and then we had a long cold spell, and that was horrible for the trees. So late summer is a good time to repot, as I mentioned, and the repotting itself is the time where we try the best to design the tree in our minds so that we plant it in the way that it goes according to that plan. But again, a branch could die, or our idea for the design can change, but it's still the major transition from nursery stock or from large box, collection box, to a bonsai pot has taken place, and in the future, if I need to tilt this or change the front, it's a minor move compared to what was done today, and much easier for the tree to recover from even after styling. So this is it for me for today. My take-home message for you is now it's a good time to repot if you have experience, but the window of opportunity is closing, and it's good to repot before styling so that the tree recovers from this major intervention. And lastly, when you do this repot, you already conceptualize the style, the design with the best base, with the best line, in this case a multiple trunk, with the symmetry, especially on a round pot, to simulate age. And that is it. So I hope you take some messages from this video, and until the next one, bye bye for now.